So in this video, we're going to show you multiple exercises to increase arm strength. We're going to go from less specific, more basic, to more specific, more advanced. Every one of these exercises has to be performed perfectly. You've probably seen one or two of these exercises in previous videos if you've been following us for a while. If you haven't been following us for a while and you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe now, because we're going to be coming out with a ton of content. And if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. The first exercise we're going to do is a side lying external rotation. And you'll notice that none of the exercises or none of the demonstrated training modalities in this video are long throwing or throwing related. Now, throwing properly is the best exercise for baseball players for their throwing arms. Throwing improperly is the worst exercise. Long throwing is not going to increase your arm strength. I know everyone says, oh, you got a long throw, increase your arm strength. It's not going to. Strengthening the muscles that make up the shoulder complex, make up the rotator cuff, make up the arm, the forearm, those are going to strengthen your arm. Doing long throwing, although some people like it and some people prefer it, is not going to be something that actually increases your arm strength. It may make you feel better psychologically to do it, but it's not going to increase the actual strength of the contractile tissues in your upper extremity. The exercises that I show you in this video are going to be specific to baseball players, and they are going to strengthen your arm. So the first one's going to be a side lying external rotation. Very basic, but I see it done wrong all the time, even by people in the healthcare field and even in the medical field. So the way I'm going to do it, I'm going to roll forward. I'm going to roll my chest forward. I got something under my head. Today I got a foam roller under my head. I'm resting my head on it, turning off the upper trap. So I'm going to roll my chest forward towards the ground, letting my head relax. I'm going to push my elbow towards my pocket, activating the lat, inhibiting the deltoid to the best of my ability. The deltoid will create a proximal migration or a cranial migration of the humeral head in the socket, which is something that contributes to impingement. I want an inferior placement of the humeral head when I do this exercise, which causes a greater activity of the rotator cuff. So it's very, very important. I'm going to push my elbow down towards my pocket, keep my shoulder down and back, my shoulder blade down and back. From there, I'm going to keep my elbow in a perfect spot, just like a perfect piston. It's rotating. I'm pushing down the entire time with my elbow towards my pocket or towards my feet or towards my thigh. Different cues work a little bit better for different people, making sure they're not shrugging their shoulder forward and rounding forward. Down and back, pushing down, performing external rotation to the end of the range. Holding it for a second and then going back down. Very controlled. You'll notice I have a 3-pounder. That's all you need if you're doing it properly. Now, once we get people very advanced, we'll progress it. But initially, our college guys, our high school guys, and even some of the professional players that we work with will use light dumbbells, 2 to 3 pounders initially, progressing to a 4 or 5 pound dumbbell once they get very strong. That's exercise number 1. We're going to go through the rest of them a little bit more quickly now that you understand some of the things that I had to address in the beginning about arm strength. The next exercise is going to be designed for the supraspinatus, which is another rotator cuff muscle. Then we're going to go through forearm, bicep, and tricep. In a future video, we're going to go through more of the muscles that surround the scapula, stabilize the scapula, the serratus, the mid-low trap, the rhomboids. We've also gone over those in previous videos, and I'll link one up at the end of this video. You're not going to want to miss that one either. So exercise number 2 is going to be a lunge with a rotational supraspinatus lift. So the way I'll do it a lot of times, especially with guys starting out, is I'll put them out in a lunge stance, straight back leg. I'm approximating positions that happen during the throw. From there, I'm going to do an internal rotation. We've done videos on this on the past, why it's so important to train the supraspinatus with internal rotation for baseball players. So you're going to want to check those out if you haven't seen them yet. Chest up, I'm going to reach as far forward, so I'm protracting as far that way as I can. I'm reaching as far that way as I can while I rotate my thumb under. Internal rotation. reach, reach, reach. From there, I get to the top, maybe higher, maybe lower, depending on how you're built. I'm going to rotate through my chest as far as I can, keeping my pelvis facing forward. From there, I'm going to keep reaching, keep rotating my thumb under, and let it come down and across. Because I've rotated my chest, I'm not actually crossing my chest. So I go up, keep reaching, that isometric contraction at the top, and then really focusing on the downward part of the movement, which is most important for throwers. Next, we're going to go into another important one, which is going to involve the bicep, then the tricep, and then one more for the forearm to finish off this video and truly strengthen your arm. Okay, so our next exercise here is for the bicep. Again, approximating a position that occurs during a throw. I'm going to go on a bent leg with a lunge again. The next one for the tricep I'm going to do right after this. I'm going to flip around and you'll see a little bit different stance from me. I'm going to have my elbow up, higher than my shoulder if possible, and I'm going to do a bicep curl in. Right now I have it right out in front of my chest, but I also can alter the angle because the bicep has to withstand something that we call tangential acceleration as your arm comes around and circumducts around your body. So it has to resist eccentrically through that entire portion. So I'm going to strengthen that curve. I'm going to go out here, so more to the side, a little bit in the scapular plane, straight forward, keeping the elbow up. I can go from pronated to supinated, so there's variations that I can use. Very effective exercise we like to use, making sure you're not hiking that shoulder up. Next, I can actually grab the actual bands, which will allow me to do two things at once. From there, I can go into the lunge again, or I can go to a straight front leg, which is going to approximate the position of the throw even closer. So I can work on hamstring flexibility at the same time, which is something that all throwers need and most throwers lack. So from here, I got my palm facing towards my head. I'm going to do a tricep extension and extend my elbow, pointing my thumb to the ground. So I'm actually working a little bit of the forearm, the pronator teres muscle, which is really important as I do it. This one as well is going to need to be strengthened throughout a curve, so I can actually take my elbow out farther to the side and extend. A little bit more instability there, standing like I'm on a balance beam, chest forward farther, altering the position, because that tricep also has to be strong through a range of motion, especially eccentrically, or when the muscle's lengthening as you go into external rotation. So you got those two exercises. I'm going to show you one more forearm exercise in this video. Try all these out, implement them into your program, see how they work for you. They can be very effective when done properly. Last exercise in this video, forearm strengthening exercise. Going to focus on the FCU. We're going to go into a lunge stance or a split stance with hamstring inhibition. Either way, start with a lunge stance. If you're not sure of your ability to perform this, actually right here what we have is a PVC pipe filled with water, so the water sloshes around. The goal with this exercise is to be explosive because the FCU has to contract ballistically during a throw. You can do it in varying degrees of external rotation. And what I'm going to try to do is what we call ulnarly deviate towards my ulna side forcefully. This actually happens slightly during the throw, but that muscle has to be strong with quick contractions. So I'm going to power. I'm actually trying to keep the water from sloshing around too much. So I'm keeping it more towards the end, bringing it back down, letting it fall back down quick. 90 degrees of elbow flexion or so, then I can fall back in a little more external rotation, really force that FCU, and it'll start firing up pretty quick, but it'll contract similar to what you need it to contract during the throw. And you can even do one contraction, relax, let it totally recover, and then another quick contraction. Different ways you can do it. If you stayed with us through this video, thanks for watching. We're going to be coming out with more videos on different stretches and exercises for baseball players. But implement these 5 exercises to truly strengthen your arm. Check out some of our other videos because we also have arm strengthening exercises and rotator cuff strengthening exercises in those videos too.